Mavis is a diesel engine who is owned by the Farquhar Quarry Company. She shunts quarry trains for Toby to take away. She is a kind diesel, but is rather feisty as well. Nonetheless, she takes her job very seriously. On the other hand, there's Daisy. She's a diesel rail car, and in her words, she's the latest diesel, right up to date. This can bother some of the engines, such as Thomas, Percy, and even Toby. These opposite personalities set the two apart in a very big way. This would be the case when Daisy came to the quarry to drop off the workmen. Mavis was in her shed one morning when she heard an unfamiliar horn. "What on earth is that?" she asked. She was surprised. Daisy rolled into the yard. "Hello there. I'm here to drop off the workmen for the quarry." "Oh, thank you. Daisy smiled. "Daisy, dear, you must be Mavis. I've heard quite a bit about you from Toby." Mavis perked up. "Oh, really? What have you heard about me?" "Only that you stalled on the level crossing. From what I hear, you held up traffic for 15 minutes. Mavis was furious. She didn't like being reminded about that incident. "Well, it wasn't my fault. Those silly trucks held me back. Besides, now I remember who you are. Toby told me about that time you blew a fuse when confronted with a milk tanker," she said slyly. Daisy huffed. "Whatever. I don't have time to sit around chatting with a filthy quarry diesel." "A filthy quarry diesel? How dare you!" But Daisy had already started rolling away. As she rolled along the line, she wasn't happy. "That Mavis! It was quite rude of her to bring up that incident." Her driver spoke up. "Well, you had no right to bring up that crossing incident, now did you?" Daisy just scoffed. She arrived at Farquhar and rolled into the yard. Toby was there with Henrietta. "Hello, Daisy. I'm feeling much better. Thank you for delivering the workmen." Daisy just huffed. "Is something wrong?" Toby asked. "It's that Mavis. After I brought up that crossing incident, she had the nerve to bring up my incident when I blew a fuse. It was fixed in no time, wasn't it? And I was able to depart. My passengers weren't even late, unlike Mavis and her quarry trucks." Toby frowned at Daisy. "Now, Daisy, you had no right to bring up that incident. Mavis was inexperienced, as were you back then. I'll talk to Mavis as well, because you two will need to get along tomorrow," Toby said firmly. Daisy frowned. "What do you mean, tomorrow?" Toby smiled. "I'm getting repaired tomorrow. Just some mandatory maintenance, but it will take the whole day. So, you will bring the workmen up, and you and Mavis will alter in taking trains from the quarry." "I can't. I simply refuse. Tomorrow's my day off." Toby smiled. "So Topomat said that since tomorrow was your day off, and that you're hoping at the quarry tomorrow, you can have the day after tomorrow off." Daisy thought for a minute. Then she spoke. "All right. I suppose I'll help her," she said begrudgingly. Toby smiled. "Thank you, Daisy," he said warmly. He left to go to the quarry. The next day, Daisy arrived at the quarry. Mavis was sitting in her shed. She didn't look well at all. Daisy smirked. "Oh dear, Mavis, blown a fuse?" she asked. Mavis looked up. "Yes, Daisy, I have. Now please, go take that first quarry train. Take care, frost is on the line." "I can manage. I'm not as foolish as you are," she said. Mavis fully understood the term, "what goes around comes around." Daisy coupled up and left a few minutes later. As she rolled along the line, she approached the crossing. As she went along, she prepared to speed up. However, as she did, there was a splutter. Then, she stopped on the crossing. "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear!" Bertie, the bus, rolled up. "Oh, not again! Seriously, this never happens with Toby," he said. At the quarry, Mavis was back to work, when the foreman came up to her. "We need you to help Daisy. She's stalled on the level crossing." Mavis scoffed. "Yeah, right, like she needs my help." Her driver spoke up. "Come on, Mavis. Don't you want to show her what a quarry diesel can do?" Mavis thought for a moment. Then she smiled. "All right, I suppose I can help her." The foreman smiled. "All right then, get moving. We can't have the train be delayed." Mavis left to go help the broken down diesel. When she arrived, she didn't say anything. She just buffered up and pushed hard. "Come on," she said. "Come on." She was working very hard. Daisy was impressed. They pulled into Elsbridge, where a very surprised Percy was. "Mavis! Daisy! I didn't expect to see you both here." Mavis panted. "Yes, Daisy had a bit of an incident." Just then a man walked up. It was Sir Topham Hatt. "Mavis, good job. You are a really useful diesel engine. And as for you, Daisy, your fuse shouldn't take too long to repair, so you'll be back to work in no time," he said. He walked away. Mavis uncoupled Daisy, and she took the train the rest of the way. She handled these trains until Daisy returned. The diesel rail car took the last few trains. Later that evening, Mavis was in her shed. Just then, she heard Daisy's horn. Why on earth is she up here? She wondered. The diesel rail car rolled up in front of her. "Mavis, I would like to apologize to you. I shouldn't have called you a filthy quarry diesel, or brought up your incident. Those were both wrong things to do. Can you please forgive me?" Mavis thought for a moment. Then she smiled. "Of course I can, Daisy. And I want to apologize as well. I shouldn't have brought up the incident when you blew your fuse." The two diesel engines smiled. After this, the two diesels were best friends. Oftentimes, they would visit one another. Daisy had also improved her attitude towards the other engines, such as Thomas, Percy, and Toby. She even got along with some of the mainline engines. Well, all except James. But that is a story for another time.